And we're often asked, when it comes to partners, husbands, wives, and children, why do we get signs and then the signs stop? Or why do they stop and then start and then stop again? It's part of, it was explained to us by the spirit world as part of that progression, as Mitch spoke about allowing us to move. And then when we don't need the signs anymore, when we don't need the touches and the visits, we get them because we're not looking for them. They bring a healing as opposed to a needing them in order to know they're there. It brings a healing. And so when we are allowing ourselves to move through that grieving process, we will get in some way that sense of them being there and that sense of them being with. It will change though, it will become much more subtle, as Mitch alluded to there. It does take that energy to be able to create just such a physical interaction, but there's so many more subtle, spiritual, emotional ways that they connect. We build relationships with the spirit world on an emotional and spiritual level, and that builds that new relationship beyond the physical world, and that requires for us to be, I suppose, open-hearted to the fact that they are no longer physically there, but spiritually and emotionally they're as much there as they ever were in physical life. And we build that new relationship that's not dependent on physical phenomena taking place, but the more subtle, loving senses of them being there.
One of the subtle things that we experience a lot, and you hear mediums talking about this cobweb effect, that we get this little sensation down the face or through the hair, and they explain it's just the spirit world coming close. It's much, much more than that. Because we look at them, they're a conscious energy, they're really living, it's their conscious soul that survived, but they haven't got that physicality to reach out and do the things they did. And when we feel these cobweb experiences, then there's little tickles, or you might feel that run through your hair. It's actually your loved one just stroking the face, coming forward and loving you, just doing the things they did when they were here. So when you next feel these little signs that you have, these little signatures, these things that mediums describe as common effects, actually it's your loved one that should be cherished and remembered, and really reached out to and say thank you. It lets them know that they've achieved, that they've been able to give their love. And we heard somebody explaining this the other day, and I haven't got much hair left, but I wanted to pull out what was left because it was just a case of they were explaining it in the wrong way. I've got children, and I know people on here have got children in the spirit world, and mothers, brothers, sons and daughters. They do everything they can to reach out and give us these experiences. And now and again, we're lucky to receive that love, to receive that feeling. And as Mitch has said, 99% of the time, we're not consciously aware of what they're doing. So the more sensitive you are, the more that you sit, the more that you spiritualize, the more that you go within, we start to become aware of all these other wonderful things they do around us. So next time you hear that cobweb effect, as somebody says it, know that it's your loved one reaching out, tenderly loving you.
Or when you want to scratch your head, or you feel you want to sort your hair because something just won't leave your hair
I know that
alone.
feeling very well with hair, sorting it out.
It is definitely them close. We